Hey guys, this is just a disclaimer. This week's episode topic is hometown murders. So if you know Jonathan or I, or know people in our hometowns, or know these people that the stories are about, it could be a trigger. Maybe skip this week's episode and catch us next week.
And also, before we start, we just want to thank our Patreon supporters, Jason, Shane, Alana, Robert, and Barbara, and Veronica. Thank you guys for supporting us. If you guys would like to get bonus episodes for only $5 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes. Head on over to patreon.com/esoteric oddities and enjoy the episode.
The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Hello there. Welcome back to Esoteric Oddities. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Sarah.
And
I feel like we haven't introduced ourselves in a while.
You know, I'm just trying to find myself. I think I need to find myself before I can introduce myself. Do you know what I mean?
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to get it tattooed on my anus.
I love it.
So how are you?
What's not wrong in my life? Let's start there. So my electricity is out, but it's only out like halfway in my house. So only...
You live in a halfway house?
Might as well at this point. I have no fucking electricity throughout half my house. So my room is completely out. I've texted my landlord now twice about it. It's been out since Saturday and it hasn't been fixed. It's now Wednesday. So yeah, I told her that I will be deducting $50 off of the rent for every day that it's not fixed. I don't give a fuck, okay?
That's so ballsy, but you know,
they literally let's not talk about how they literally painted over black mold.
And then it came back.
And then
they ignored it.
And then they ignored it and then left a gigantic hole in my ceiling for 6 months. So like, you have to be proactive with these people.
Yo.
I'm moving in July. I'm moving July 1st and I can't fucking wait. I'm literally probably
counting down to the days.
Gonna get killed in that house.
They really left not a small hole. Like this was a massive hole that was just like
in
open.
The corner.
That went like straight up the ceiling, like to the old ass pipes and like to your floor on the next floor.
Yeah, like to my bathroom. So like anytime someone would run the shower, you would hear it. And
it sounded like it was like falling down in your kitchen.
Yeah, so if I don't pass away by July 1st, it'll be a miracle because I feel like this house is out to get me.
You better just pass away.
And it sucks because I have a cat, so I've been moving him back and forth, which is really annoying. Between friends' houses because I can't stay there because I need to get ready for work. Like, and this is unstable for my son.
I can't live in these conditions.
No, I really can't.
Well, why don't you do your makeup by candlelight like they used to back in castle times? Get a candelabra.
We're
my God.
We're not there anymore, okay?
Yeah, but like some
people... Leave it in that time.
The Amish don't have electricity.
I'm not Amish. I'm American. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Speaking of Amish, I was actually... If you guys don't know what Lancaster is, it's...
Is it Lancaster or Lancaster?
I always thought it was Lancaster, but it's like they call it Lancaster there.
I know.
But it's in Pennsylvania, and it's where the Amish are. If you've ever seen Breaking Amish, it pretty much takes place there. Pretty much all of Amish, not all of, but a majority of Amish America is in this town. And my cousin had a wedding there this past weekend, which was another reason why we didn't put out an episode last week. Thank you guys for understanding.
We were busy.
We told you May was going to be like a mess.
And it was. It, in fact, was a mess. It came in hot.
So we go to Amish land and literally like on the highway there. It's kind of jarring if you're not used to it. I haven't been there in a really long time, probably since...
Do they have the horse and buggy?
Did I ride it?
Do they have it?
Yeah, that's what they have them on the highway. Like on the side of the highway.
That's not safe.
It's not safe, but I mean, nobody's, knock on wood, but nobody's like gotten hurt doing it. Sometimes you get like stuck behind it, but I feel like the people that live there are like understanding. Remember they used to come to the city. They would do it like every Friday or every other Friday. They would post up on campus. Maybe because you didn't walk through campus, but they would post up on campus like every other Friday and sell their goods. They were like, we got cookies, we got muffins.
That reminded me of like Cardi B.
Yeah, it is a Cardi B song. Breaking Amish. She didn't break the internet. She broke the Amish. But yeah, they pay by shillings. I totally.
What's that?
I don't even know. I just made that up.
Oh,
So
I Google it.
went to my cousin's wedding and I had to speak in it. I had to say the memorial parts about like the people, the relatives who couldn't make. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, the service.
And yeah, and my cousin, she's her mom's side is very Italian, so it's all Italian names. And then her new husband, I was afraid I was going to. I didn't. Well, because I know those names, so I didn't.
Oh, okay.
And then,
you know, I'm butchering these names on this podcast.
I want to say they're German, but I don't know. But I'm not going to say the names. But I definitely didn't want to like
mess them up.
Yeah, that was
trying
not
to like
the time.
remember people.
Yeah, but apparently I did fine. I was like, I don't know. I've never heard these names, so I'm just gonna wing it, ding it.
I'm just gonna wing it.
But I really think that doing this podcast, even though it's not technically public speaking, but I think in high school I was not good at public speaking because I didn't do it.
I hated my voice.
I was literally just talking to Kiko about this, about how how you would do like popcorn reading. They'd be like, popcorn, Sarah, you read next. And it's like, and you like have to read out loud to the class from a goddamn textbook.
Oh my God, I remember the people that would have such a hard time saying like the simplest words. That wasn't you. You're not simple.
Simpleton. But it was like a struggle. But I feel like now reading through things out loud and having to like read them out loud, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because how many times in our like adult lives would we have to do pretty much what we're doing? And then like if I feel like if I wasn't doing this, then I wouldn't have, mastered my speech at the wedding. So I would like to thank all of you for getting me to.
For me, I think it was my job, because I was always meeting people that I didn't know, and I would always have to feel out if they were going to be like super professional or like super kind of friendly.
What does that have to do with reading off of a paper?
It really doesn't, but it just like taught me like how to talk to people and like kind of be like super quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not a quick one.
I think I am.
You're more like overnight oats. I'm like that quick oats.
Ew. Well, I'm better.
I'm wetter.
Not possible. Ask my girlfriend.
Oh God, I'm damper than a hamper.
Edit that out. You don't have to though.
Did you hear the news?
What's the name?
Damp is the new moist.
What's up with people that hate the word moist?
I don't like it. It's not a preferred word, you heard. But
bird is the word.
It's not a good word, but you want a moist cake. You don't want a dry cake or cock for that matter.
Yeah, dry cocks are the worst.
Yeah. Fucking lotion that shit. Vaseline, I don't care.
Ew, Vaseline?
Yeah. Vaseline.
Is it Vaseline or Vaseline?
Vaseline, I think. It's not good for you. It's petroleum jelly.
I know. It's literally like, isn't it flammable too?
I'm pretty sure. You know what they actually like?
Yikes, big yikes.
How they discovered petroleum jelly was through fracking. You know, fracking, like the oil fracking thing. He goes like, you would know it if you saw it.
Okay.
But like taking oil out of the ground around the pipes, they would get like this buildup, and it was like mostly petroleum. And somebody back in the day,
like put it on their skin, and they're like, "Oh my God!"
Well, yeah, they felt it, and they're just like,
crack.
"Oh, this is interesting." So they literally like scooped it out, and it was free because I mean they were making money off the oil. They just scooped it out, put it in a jar, and sold it on the streets. I don't know what year that was.
Yikes!
But that's why it's petroleum jelly. It's not very good for you.
That's not okay.
Also, I feel like you only need to buy like one jar of Vaseline and you're good for like 25 years.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
use it like at all.
My parents have had the same jar of Vaseline since before I was born.
I'm saying because they probably stopped using it on you because it's petroleum jelly.
Yeah, my mom's like,
red flag.
Wait, I saw a tweet. It should be my tweet of the week, but I have a better one. But it was like, someone's like dying on a plane and it's like, is there a doctor on board? And then like, of course, Aunt Nance or Aunt Jocelyn stands up and is just like, I have some essential oils. Like,
stop.
Love my mom, but that's my mom.
That is your mom.
I know. I love you, Mom.
Oils heal all.
They can. But all right. So this is a bit of a serious episode. I think it's more serious because we decided to do hometown murders. Now, if you guys listen to My Favorite Murder, which I'm sure you do, they have hometown murders where people write in about, murders that happened in their hometowns. And unfortunately, I have had one in my hometown. And so now that the petroleum jelly is out of my system, we've had such a weird order. I think you're first, though.
Yeah, so my story is about, he was actually a really good friend of my brother's, and I've known him because he was a friend of my brother's. It all started on January 1st, 2008, when Randy Rushing moved in with then-girlfriend Samantha and her family. On this date, I'm nervous because, I know him, so it's like...
Yeah,
Carter.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to start this over. It all started on January 1st, 2008, when Randy Rushing moved in with then-girlfriend Samantha and her family. So, there's a lot of people in this house. So, it's the mom, Cynthia, the girlfriend, Samantha, ex-boyfriend, Randy Rushing. I'm going to refer to him as Rushing by his last name.
Okay.
Her now boyfriend, Justin. And then Leslie and Dustin are brothers. And then Matthew is also their brother. So in the house is the mom, Leslie, Justin, Dustin, Randy Rushing, and Samantha.
Okay.
And the story is all about them.
Okay. Got it.
So in June 2008, Samantha and Rushing were not getting along, so he was given his own bedroom in the basement. So ex-boyfriend's still living in the house.
In the basement.
Yes. The events leading to this incident began on July 12, 2008. On this date, 5 days before the incident, Rushing became angry when he found Justin Barrios, age 22, which is Samantha's boyfriend.
Right.
And the father of her 2-year-old child, Tristan, sitting on her bed. 4 days...
Why was he mad? If he's living in the house... I mean, you probably don't know, but I'm just, putting it out there.
People get jealous. This is,
I guess, but if he's an ex and he's living in the house...
Right. I guess it's hard to see your ex with somebody else.
Yeah.
But just move out.
I mean, they're hard times, so you can't just move out. You never know.
Right.
Well, I guess you actually would know, but okay. Continue.
So, before I start this, I know Leslie. He was a really good friend of my brother's, and I know him through my brother. We went to high school together. We went to middle school together.
How old is he in comparison to you?
He was 16.
Your dad's brother? Or your brother's, I'm sorry. Your brother's age?
Yes.
Okay.
So, a year, 17 months. Because that's how far apart me and my brother are.
You're only a year and... 17? Really?
Uh-huh.
Why did I think he was so much older?
I don't know.
He looks like you with a beard.
I know. It's really weird.
All right. Weird beard. Back to the story.
4 days later, on July 16, 2008, Cynthia, which is the mom, drove Rushing to TJ Maxx in Pittston, Pennsylvania, which is where he works. He works the 6 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. shift.
It's a hefty shift.
I'm saying. Samantha also works the same shift, but drove herself.
Okay. So, girlfriend and ex-boyfriend working, same shift, different cars.
Yes.
Just clarifying, sorry.
Yes, it's okay. So, there's a lot going on here. After working their shifts, Samantha gave Rushing a ride home. At 10:30 p.m., Rushing left for a friend's house, and Cynthia, which is the mom, went home at 11 p.m. So she's home.
Okay.
This evening, Justin Barrios was at the household watching Samantha's son.
Tristan, right?
Yes. So in the early hours of July 17, 2008, Rushing returned to the household and stabbed Justin to death. So ex-boyfriend stabs current boyfriend
to death.
Yes. It was determined that Justin died due to 14 stab wounds, 7 of which were to the neck. So Leslie woke his mother Cynthia up and told her that someone had ran into his room and stabbed him. And he was bleeding profusely. So,
Leslie was bleeding?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Cynthia went into the kitchen to call 911 when she discovered the telephone was not in the kitchen.
No.
Dustin, which is Leslie's brother,
right,
ran up from the basement after hearing his mother and helped his brother to the floor in the hallway. Rushing then appeared from the living room with a gun and ordered everyone onto the floor. When Cynthia, the mom, asked Rushing what he was doing, he replied, "I'm giving Samantha something she'll remember." Samantha's not home.
Oh my god. Is the son home? Tristan? I'm assuming.
Yes. Rushing took Leslie into the kitchen, where he ultimately died from his wounds. While Cynthia and Dustin were on the floor of the hallway, holding one another, Rushing returned and ordered Cynthia into her son Matthew's room.
Oh, no.
Matthew's disabled.
Right.
Rushing ordered Cynthia to lie on the floor. When she did, he handcuffed her hands behind her back. He also ordered Dustin into the mom's bedroom and told him to lie on the floor. Cynthia could hear Rushing beating her son Dustin. She began to vomit, and Rushing re-entered Matthew's bedroom, which is where she was, and put a gun to her head and told her, "Shut the fuck up or I'll kill you." He then tightened her handcuffs. He took a shirt from Matthew's dresser and tied Matthew's hands with the shirt and his feet with a computer cable. Then Cynthia observed him take a red hammer from the toolbox and leave Matthew's room, and then heard him begin to strike Dustin with the hammer. Ultimately, Dustin died from blunt force trauma to the head. Rushing returned numerous times to Matthew's room to check on Matthew and Cynthia. After showering, Rushing came back to Matthew's room and asked for Cynthia's bank cards and PIN numbers and Cynthia's wedding ring. He also turned on the air conditioner and covered Cynthia and Matthew with blankets, threatening them that they better be quiet when Samantha returned home. Samantha arrived home at approximately 5:40 a.m. Rushing greeted her and told her to go to her son's room for a surprise. Samantha checked on her son and then instructed her to go to her bedroom. When she entered the bedroom, he forced her onto the bed and lifted up a sheet and displayed Justin's dead body, which was laying next to the bed. He stated, "Do you know what happened to Justin? He didn't make it." He then tried to force Samantha onto her stomach on the bed, and when she resisted, he put his gun to her head and told her, "Get on your fucking stomach." He tied Samantha's hands behind her back with a necktie and tied her feet with a belt. He climbed on top of Samantha, kissed her, ran his fingers through her hair, and told her that he loved her. After leaving, then returning to the bedroom, Rushing said that he should rape her. He sat next to her and grabbed her left breast and gave her a hickey on the right side of her neck. He took Samantha's car keys, and before leaving, he remarked, "Well, I've already bodied some people, and now I've just bodied some more." He said that if the police did not find him, he was going to kill three people from work. It states that at some point he entered Matthew's room and told Matthew and Cynthia that if the dad came home, he would be next. Then he stated that they could yell for help when he arrived. He then stated, "No, fuck it, it's 6 o'clock now. If I ain't back by 6:30, you guys can do whatever the hell you want." Samantha, by sliding her phone off of Justin's body with her feet and onto the floor, after multiple tries, was able to call 911. When the police arrived at 6:53 a.m., Samantha, Cynthia, and Matthew were still tied up. Leslie, Justin, and Dustin were dead.
Where's Tristan, the little boy?
He's in his room.
Okay. Alive.
Mm-hmm. The police located Rushing, who was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and third-degree murder in conjunction with also killing Justin, Leslie, and Dustin. And he was charged with multiple counts of kidnapping and robbery. And that's the story.
I don't even know what to say. I feel like I really don't know what to say.
That was the craziest story I've ever heard, and it's crazy because I was close with him.
And you were close in proximity. That's your hometown.
I'm saying.
I really don't know what to say. That's fucked.
I still don't understand why he killed Dustin and Leslie.
Yeah, the brothers.
They probably fought back.
Probably. And if you're just on a rampage and he snapped.
Right. Which clearly.
Can I ask how long he was living there with the family?
So he moved in 2008 in January, and all this started in July 2008. So
he was living there for 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know how long he was broken up with her?
I don't.
Or why they got in an argument?
No, it just said that they weren't getting along, so he moved downstairs. Probably because he's a little off.
Just a little. Wow. That's pretty brutal. And really fucked.
Which is kind of weird because homicides don't really happen in my hometown. I was searching like, you know, murders in my hometown, and there wasn't a lot. Like, there was like 2 or 3. It was like from 2006 to like now.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of.
That was like 10 years ago already, though.
Mm-hmm. I was in high school. And Leslie was 16.
Shit.
And the mom, I feel so bad for the mom.
What
Like,
happened after?
I don't know. Like, how do you get over that?
You don't.
Right.
You cope, I guess. I have no way to say, but like,
right.
Instantly regretting choosing this topic.
And it's weird because I've known Jonathan for 6 years and I've never told him this story.
Never. And as much as we've like talked about this stuff, and you know about my hometown because we talked about this.
I guess it's just like I kind of just put it somewhere else.
Yeah, as you should. Well, shit. If I know a lot of Sarah's friends are listening to this, so if any of you knew any of them or were associated in any way, my condolences, and sorry we brought it up, but holy shit, that's so fucked. Mm-hmm. So he's still rotting in jail, I assume?
Yes.
Taking up our tax dollars, being a rotten fucking human.
Right.
Holy shit. And that Tristan, that little boy now is how old was he?
He was 2 when this happened.
So he's 12 now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope he does it. I hope
but I just feel
somehow
bad for, like,
he turns
Samantha.
out. I do too, but I really hope that kid turns out like okay.
Right. I mean, I feel like I don't know how it works, like psychologically.
I mean, and it differs person to person and situation to situation, but shit, like his 2 uncles were killed and his father were killed by his mom's ex.
Right.
I feel like I would have more to say if it wasn't like a hometown, but I'm just like shook us a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like stuff doesn't really happen in my hometown like that.
Oh, you never know.
Right.
Who/when. All right, so now it's my turn. So this story is pretty close to home for me in more ways than one, and I'll talk about it a little at the end. But the day is September 10th, 1995. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Limerick, Pennsylvania. 29-year-old Lisa Mandarak kisses her husband James goodbye as she takes their 19-month-old daughter Devin to the store, which is less than 10 miles away from their home. So Lisa tells James that she won't be too long, and she closes the front door on her way out as James sits on his recliner and stays home to watch football. So a few hours pass. Lisa and Devin still haven't returned from the store. So Lisa's sister receives a phone call from James, who asked if she had seen or heard from Lisa. She says no. So James calls around to Lisa's friends and neighbors and asks if anybody had seen or heard from Lisa, and there was no sign of Lisa or Devin. Friends and family drive to the store that Lisa said she would be shopping at. It was called Your Kids and Mine, but kids has a Z at the end. The 90s. It was a children's clothing store in a small shopping center. What?
I didn't know that you did this one.
Yeah.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah. So the store was closed, and the parking lot was empty except for Lisa's car. So there is an Acme in the shopping center. For those of you who don't know, it is like pretty much a grocery store. Your general run-of-the-mill grocery store. And actually, the grocery store where my family used to go for some groceries.
Shook.
And it was the only place that was still open. This is in like a little shopping center strip mall, John, and it was a Sunday, so places tended to close early. So they searched the grocery store. They asked employees if they had seen a mother and daughter that fit the description of Lisa and Devin, but nobody had. So later that night, police arrived at the Mandarak home since an infant was involved. I think if it was only Lisa, they would have maybe just been like, I don't know, but I feel like they would have been like, wait for 48 hours to make a missing person.
Like, no, the baby.
Yeah, I don't know. But this happened that night. So officers noticed that there was still a diaper bag in the living room. So they asked James about it, and he said that Lisa had left it there when she mentioned she wouldn't be long. This seemed strange to officers since, Lisa could have simply brought the diaper bag with her and just left it in the car just in case, Devin needed to be changed, since her car was found about 10 miles away, which, isn't around the corner if your baby needs a new diaper.
Right.
So with the possibility that Lisa had run off with Devin, just, they're keeping that in mind, they checked the bathroom to see if she had taken any toiletries or clothes with her, but nothing was missing. So the following day, hikers at Valley Forge National Park saw what looked like to be a large doll in a plastic bag laying at the bottom of a ditch just off the side of the road.
Oh, no.
So they called a park trooper or a state park trooper, because it is a national park, whatever the trooper guys are in there. I should know. But so they called one of those guys who, came to the scene, and he opened the bag to find the lifeless body of 19-month-old Devin. She was pronounced dead at the scene. So that day, investigators noticed how strange James was acting. He refused to go in to identify the body of his daughter, and he seemed almost shameful. The autopsy stated that Devin had been manually suffocated and strangled to death, but no foreign fibers or hairs were found on the body or the clothing. James was taken to the police station for questioning, and he continued to, persist, saying that he was home alone watching football. He denied any involvement with the death of his daughter and the disappearance of his wife. His neighbor had mentioned to the police that he thought he saw James' car in the driveway all day, but that was an alibi that could not be verified. So investigators also noted that on that Sunday, when Lisa had gone shopping, there was a local motorcycle gang that held a meeting around that shopping center. So investigators found a woman who had actually been shopping at Your Kids and Mine that day. The woman said she did in fact remember seeing someone who fit the description of Lisa and her baby Devin in the store around 3:30 p.m. So investigators go to the store. They find the transaction history printed on the journal tape in the cash register, because it was like one of those old registers that, you give them the receipt, like the carbon copy, and you keep a little journal tape. On that journal tape, it said the last transaction recorded was at 3:39 p.m. that day. So they looked around the store and they found peepholes drilled into the changing rooms.
Weird.
Keep in mind, this is like a toddler kid store.
Yikes, red flag.
And they had like some stuff for moms. So they hunted down the store owner, Ruth Fairley, who said her son, 22-year-old Caleb Fairley, had been working in the store alone that day. So police asked Caleb over the phone if he recalls seeing Lisa and her baby in the store. He says he doesn't recall, since lots of mothers, with their infants come into that type of store, which makes sense. But he also agreed to come down to the police station and answer any questions that they had. So Caleb arrives at the Montgomery County Police Department, and the first things investigators notice is the absurd amount of makeup caked on his face. So they ask him to wipe it off with a wet paper towel, and when he does, they notice fresh scratch marks across his face.
Yikes.
When asked about them, he says he had been moshing at an Electric Hellfire Club concert, which took place at a local club/music venue called Asylum. So, FYI, Asylum was like a members-only nightclub that resembled a padded cell and catered to people who dressed in Gothic-style clothing, sported dramatic makeup as a part of the vampire subculture. What's good in my hometown. And the place regularly hosted vampire live-action role-playing games such as Vampire the Masquerade. Just a little side story about where this venue was. But they held concerts and shit, and he said that they were moshing and whatnot.
And that's why he had the scratches.
And that's why he had scratches on his face. But when interviewed, Caleb's friends who were at the show that night said that Caleb had the scratches on his face when he showed up, and they had a different story.
Damn, not riders.
They said that he told them that he was taking out the trash out of the back, and there were like 3 guys that were getting in a fight, and he tried to break it up, being like heroic and shit. And that's how he got the scratches on his face. And then they also mentioned that after Electric Hellfire Club played their last song, Caleb asked the keyboardist if he could help him establish a more personal relationship with Satan.
Okay.
So, upon further investigation, they found a prior charge of sexual harassment in 1992 for Sir Caleb Fairley, where he pulled his car up next to a female jogger and verbally catcalled her and, was telling her what he wanted to do with her if he had a chance to get her in bed. So Caleb had also worked previously at Friendly's, which is like a popular ice cream shop style chain restaurant. I don't know exactly what states it's in, but I know it's not where when I lived in Illinois, I know it wasn't there, but I think it might just be like a East Coast thing, if not a Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It might just be a Pennsylvania thing, but it's a chain restaurant. It's like an ice cream shop and they have like diner food and stuff. And he actually worked at the one that I frequently went to as a child.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when he worked there, he was caught masturbating multiple times in the bathroom. So Caleb was a loner. He lived with his parents. He played Dungeons and Dragons. He collected porn magazines and was fascinated by vampires. They also found that Caleb had a little brother who accidentally shot himself in the face and died at the age of 4 years old. So investigators searched his house and they found a t-shirt with a printed image on it where two vampires were biting the neck of a woman who looks exactly like Lisa Mandarak. And when I saw this image, it like creeped me out how much this like printed on t-shirt looked just like Lisa. So after interviewing people who were shopping in the shopping center that day, what were you going to say?
I was going to say something, but I think I might give it away, so I'll hold it till after.
Okay. So they were talking to people who were shopping in the shopping center that day, and some customers said they had seen someone vacuuming inside Your Kids and Mine before it closed on Sunday afternoon. The next morning, news crews who showed up at the scene to cover the missing persons story said they saw someone vacuuming the carpet inside the store again. So investigators returned to the store, which had not opened its doors since it closed the day of Lisa and Devin's disappearance on Sunday. And they found long hair in the vacuum bristles. And with the use of ultraviolet lights, they found numerous stains on the carpet, one of which was saliva stain that matched the DNA of baby Devin. So the other stains on the carpet were semen from Caleb Fairley.
Oh my God, yikes.
But there was no trace of Lisa's DNA anywhere on the premises. So to investigators, there was no solid proof, there was no solid evidence that Lisa was ever in the store. All they were pretty much going off was the fact that, Devin's DNA was found in the store, and there was a woman who said she thought she saw someone around 3:30 when the last purchase was made. So with Devin dead, Lisa still missing, and no DNA in the store, investigators hit a brick wall in the case. So the DA offered Caleb Fairley a deal. Without knowing if Lisa was dead or alive, they bluffed, and they pretty much said, tell us where Lisa Mandarak's body is, and we will take the death penalty off the table. And just like that, Caleb nearly confessed to the crime. He was handcuffed and he got in the back of the police car and he took them to a wooded area behind a gym. There in the grass and dirt was the lifeless body of Lisa. She was naked and positioned in a suggestive position with her legs open and her hair covering her face.
How do you just throw a baby out a window?
Yeah, I know. But this was Lisa that they found. So the body was taken in where an autopsy showed that almost all of her fingernails were either broken or completely ripped off. 5 of her ribs were broken and she had been manually strangled to death. There were signs of sexual assault post-mortem. They compared Lisa's hair to the hair that was found in the vacuum, and they were microscopically similar. Her fingernails were scraped and tested, and there was skin that was found underneath the fingernails, and it matched Caleb Fairley's DNA. So more of Lisa's hair, Devin's hair, and fibers from Devin's clothing were found in Caleb's car. He was placed under arrest and charged with 2 counts of murder, aggravated assault, theft, and abuse of a corpse. So this is what investigators found out happened that day. Lisa did, in fact, choose to leave behind the diaper bag at home with James, telling him that she would not be long, at least not long enough for Devin to need to be changed. So initially, police thought that James obviously had
Right,
something
did
to do with
something.
it because that's who you know, get your crosshairs on first.
Right.
So Lisa and Devin entered the store where the only other shopper, which was the customer who met with investigators, was checking out. She was paying for her stuff at 3:39 p.m. and that was the last transaction on the registered journal tape. So once that woman left, Lisa, Devin, and Caleb were the only ones remaining in the store. While she was looking at clothes, Caleb walked to the front of the store and locked the door. He then attacked Lisa while she was standing behind clothing racks, which was out of street view. So Devin started crying, naturally. Caleb got on top of Lisa and used his knee to break 5 of her ribs. She fought back. She scratched his face, and he strangled Lisa for over 4 minutes until she went limp. Then he strangled 19-month-old Devin. He pulled his car around the back of the store where he snuck out the bodies. He put Lisa in the trunk, and then he wrapped Devin up in a bag and put her in the passenger seat of the car. Caleb then drove a few miles away to Valley Forge National Park and threw Devin's body out the window. So he drove a bit further.
How do you throw a baby out the window?
I know.
How do you chuck a child out of a window?
So he drove a bit further, and he parked behind the gym in a wooded area, dragged Lisa's body to the grass, posed her, covered her face with hair, which, you know, is something murderers tend to do when they feel embarrassed or guilty, or they just, like, don't want to look in the face of...
You think?
Yeah. So he then returned to the store where he vacuumed the carpet and then went to a concert with his friends, where he moshed.
Amazing.
So...
Great. Glad you had a good day.
Caleb ended up pleading guilty, but said said the murders were not premeditated.
Ugh. So you didn't see this girl and think, holy shit, she looks like that girl in my shirt. Like, shut up, Caleb.
So due to the fact that it took him over 4 minutes to strangle Lisa, and then he had the audacity to strangle Devin, the jury did not agree. He was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. So again, what you said in your story about getting like the death penalty, he would have, but you know. So here's some drama that happened.
Okay, because I knew that was it, but I thought people were gonna kind of argue with that.
The public? Oh, they did. Oh, they did. This is the drama. Are you ready?
I'm ready for the drama.
So the public was pissed. You know, they obviously wanted him to face the death penalty. This type of shit doesn't happen, but for like a mother and like an infant to be killed by a fucking like perverted weird ass motherfucker.
Boy. Yeah.
They were pissed that the DA had promised him that, you know, if he showed them where Lisa's body was, the death penalty would be taken off the table. They made a bargain. That's what it was. You know, there was a possibility that she could have been found alive. They, at the time when they were making the bargain with him, I'm just trying to look at this objectively. You know, there was a possibility that, you know, Devin was found dead at this time, but Lisa, there was a possibility maybe she was tied up somewhere, though due to the scratches on his face, you know, it was against the odds. But the odds of finding Lisa's body in the thick woods behind a massive empty parking lot near to, you know, that would have... So pretty much if they hadn't made that bargain with him, they would have pretty much just had to have wait till someone came across Lisa's body in the woods where nobody would usually go. Right. It would probably eventually happen, but it would just take so much longer to, do you know what I mean? Just to get everything over with. So again, I'm just looking at it objectively, but in my personal opinion, I think that they made a mistake taking the death penalty off the table.
Same.
And then, okay, further drama. James Mandarak ended up suing the Fairleys, pretty much saying they should not have been letting him work alone in that store with women and children when he had previous harassment charges.
Right, yes.
On top of the fact that there were peepholes in the changing rooms and shit.
Right, like y'all didn't look?
So the drama continued to 2012. This happened in 1995. Continued to 2012 when the U.S. Supreme Court, they had a 5-4 decision on June 25th. If you guys follow a lot of true crime, you probably already know what I'm about to say. But they determined that the mandatory life sentences without parole for those who committed murders before the age of 18 was constituted as cruel and unusual punishment. So in 2012, basically they were saying if there was a minor under the age of 18 who is sentenced to life without parole, that constituted as cruel and unusual punishment. And then, they implied that the judges needed to, figure out what the hell they were going to do with these kids who were supposed to have life in jail, but they did it before they were adults. So blah, 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 blah. So Caleb and his lawyer argued that despite the fact that he was 21 at the time, he wasn't 18 like the Supreme Court said.
I'm saying.
Despite that fact, they claimed that scientific findings said that a person's biological process is typically incomplete until the person reaches his or her mid-20s. But shut the fuck up. The Supreme Court says 18. You were 21 and evil and lucky to be alive. So go fuck yourself with a vampire stake.
Right.
So some aftermath. They did build a playground near their Mandrak's home with two massive, and I mean they're massive, 2-story slides. We used to call it the Heart Park because there's 2 hearts all over. And at the time, I didn't know. I just thought it was a park. When I used to play there, I had no idea what, right. My parents weren't going to tell me. But the 2 hearts represented Lisa and Devin. It sucks, but, they're remembered. Lisa was 29. Her 30th birthday was 3 weeks away from the date she was murdered.
Amazing.
In September. And she was a volunteer for Meals on Wheels.
Wow.
Now, quick side note. If you are a loner, and if you live with your parents, and if you play Dungeons and Dragons, and if you collect porn magazines...
This doesn't mean that you're like this man.
Yeah. And if you're fascinated by vampires, we're not coming for you because at the time, in everywhere that you see this being published, it was really important for, the media was highlighting it. And in a town like ours, it really intensified the bullying of the kids who were into that shit. It was just not a cute time for people who were slaying dragons as a hobby. They were just really trying times for the kingdom. So this happened in 1995. I was 2 years old. Devin was the little baby who got murdered, was a couple months younger than me. So she would be my age now.
Oh, no.
This is this was obviously in my hometown. This was where I used to live. My aunt had been shopping at the store earlier that week, and my uncle was actually in on the case. I'm not going to give anything other than that because I feel but there is a Forensic Files episode about it, and my uncle is actually in it. So, hey, shout out.
Hey, Uncle.
And I was going through the location not that long ago, and it was when I actually called you, Sarah, because there's a really good Chinese restaurant in there, and the Chinese restaurant is in the shopping center next door.
Yikes.
The direct door right next to where all this shit happened. Obviously, Your Kids in Mine is gone. It is now a car rental place. I forget what car rental place it is, but I've been there before. I've been in the building. But the craziest thing is, I remember hearing a little bit about this when I got older, but I thought that it had happened where the park was because the park was closer to where they lived. So I thought that is where it had happened. And when I found out, and I literally I want to say it was maybe last summer or the summer before, but no, it was last summer. It was early last Memorial Day, I believe. So about a year ago is when I found out that that's exactly where it happened. And I was like, what? I had no idea because I used to go in that shopping center all the time.
Right. Oh my God. It's just so crazy. So did he kill the mother of the child in the
Yes.
He killed her in the store.
He killed her in the store, and somehow her hair was in the vacuum.
Oh,
but there was no DNA.
Yeah, because
especially because he vacuumed, but also in 1995, the forensics weren't all that. Mm-hmm. But because they didn't the hair was microscopically, I'm using air quotes, the hair was microscopically similar. So that was as close to a DNA match as they could get with technology back then, I assume. Yeah, but it was fucked. A lot of people are upset by this, obviously. And I have a couple comments of locals. So this is from a person who, he did go to college briefly, but he dropped out. So this person says, quote, "I was his college roommate. There was a lot wrong with him. His parents pulling him out of school didn't help. So he dropped out. His parents pulled him out. He also told me about his kid brother's death, saying it was an accident. His brother died from a gunshot at a young age. After all this went down, I wasn't so sure it was an accident. I tried to look up things, but I don't know the validity of any of it not being an accident. This is just a quote from a person. And here's another bit of a quote. So it says, I knew Caleb. In high school, he had social support from the rest of us, quote, nerds. And he was a kind and compassionate soul. Barf. That's me saying barf, not them. We knew he had experienced an incredible loss in his past, and his home life wasn't great. He was also intensely bullied for his appearance, for his weight, being accused of masturbating, which was a common topic of our bullies to use against girls and boys alike. If he snapped and fought back, he was bullied more, obviously. But I only knew a fraction of the impact this had on me, so I can only imagine how detrimental it was on a fragile mind. In addition, so many of us were into D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, or vampire role-playing games, and it was usually the smart kids, you know the type. This kind of escapism is no different from World of Warcraft today, and it really life-posing threats. Sorry, it's a quote. I didn't write this. The need to escape is perfectly reasonable. I firmly believe that Caleb was sick. He had undiagnosed mental illness, which was not addressed by anyone that we know of, leaving an arena of social support and guidance with graduation and moving on to a haphazard existence. Clearly, wow, they're using really big words, something by his condition, which put him at risk for psychosis. What he did was heinous, but I would caution anyone against defining him as evil.
Are you good? He threw a baby out a window.
He was a product of his life, and this literally brings it back to like nature versus nurture and the mentality and mental illness. Where was I at? We cannot point at one singular cause of his illness, be it bullying, Dungeons and Dragons, or whatever else these strangers and commenters had to say. He broke, plain and simple. It is right for him to be in jail, and it is right for him to suffer the consequences of his actions, whatever the causes may be. That's all we can say. So this is kind of somebody, I guess, in a way.
Halfway defending, halfway not.
Not totally defending. I think they're just trying to say that he's not an evil. I think they're trying to say that it's like his circumstances caused his mental illness.
I feel like it's just
he's an evil
debatable.
motherfucker. Yeah, we could go on, and I feel you're never gonna get it an answer. You're never gonna be able to pinpoint it. But fuck, he is still in jail as we are recording this podcast. He is a piece of shit. He is in his 40s, I believe now. This happened in 95. He was 21. I'm not good at math. I'm also not good at coloring inside the lines. But yeah, I tried to find what happened to his little brother, but I really couldn't find that much.
Right.
Because anytime
it's probably an accident, so no one reported it.
Right. And anytime I try, or it might have been in like the newspaper or like an obituary or something, but I couldn't find his name. I couldn't find, I found his dad's name, and I like really tried to look it up. I looked them up on Facebook, and I tried to find like anybody, but I'm sure, I don't even know if they live in this town. I don't know who's still alive. If he had a little brother I don't know if he had any other siblings who are still alive, but he's a piece of shit, and that was my hometown murder.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening. Do you want to do a fun fact?
Yeah. My fun fact is that Scotland has 421 words for snow.
List them.
You really want me to sit here for 420? It's sneasel. That's one. And feefel.
Feefel. I love it.
And flink drinking. That means light snow.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you for differentiating there.
Want the tweet of the week?
Let me read my fun fact first.
Okay.
So when Twister was introduced in 1966, it was denounced by critics as sex in a box. It kind of is. Think about it, Twister.
Really
Everybody's
is.
all like, ooh.
Right, like
Right foot
intertwined.
blue. Scissor me timbers, baby. I haven't played Twister in a while. I don't think my body would let me.
I'm definitely best at Twister. I don't have that, like...
You're tiny.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really have that, like, much to go.
You're flexible. You have little bones. Little baby bones.
I'm winking at him really weirdly.
Yeah, it's making me uncomfortable. Stop it, ma'am.
My tweet of the week is by Augustus. His name is Proxiteers.
Figure it out.
It says, cherish the fuck out of people you care about. You never know when it'll be the last time you get to talk to them or see them.
And I think both of our stories can vouch for that.
Saying. And it's crazy because I picked this tweet even before the story I was going to do. But I guess it was always surrounding murder, so. Cheese
and rice. So my tweet of the week was actually a video. I know how annoying this is, like the second time I've like did a video. But I forget. I think it was CBS News or somebody posted it. It was a video of a couple who went to, I want to say they were at a zoo, but they were somewhere where they had their first date. They had now been dating for like 5 or 6 or 7 years or something. And they were 2 women. And
oh my God, I saw that.
Yeah. And the one girl gets down on her knee and proposes. The other girl freaks out and she reaches in her bag and she gets down on her knee because she was going to propose too. And it was so cute.
Yes, I love it.
I know. It was adorable.
Amazing.
Do we want to do a quiz? Just a little lighthearted quiz? All right, so we're going to take a quiz. If you want to join us in this quiz, it will be in the show notes. So feel free. Just to lighten up the mood a little bit. So this is, which That 70s Show character are you?
Whoop, whoop.
We got 20 questions.
Wait, before we do it, we should guess which one each of us is going to get.
I'm going to guess for you. 100% you are Jackie.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
100% I think you're Fez.
Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm Donna.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're Donna and Fez.
I'm Fauna. Okay.
Fauna.
Let's find out. All right. Question number 1. Do you like Bob Marley? He's my hero. He's got some cool jams. I couldn't name a song.
He's got some cool jams.
I'm going to say the same.
Cool. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Pick a car. Convertible, Jeep, Cruiser. You know I got that top down.
Is your ad... Do you have an ad floating all up in your jam?
It's like on the side.
Mine's like in my face. It's like covering the... What was the first one? I can't read it.
The first one was convertible, Jeep, or Cruiser.
Okay. What are you going to say?
Convertible.
I'm going to say Well, is it a PT Cruiser?
It's just a convertible.
No.
Oh, Cruiser. I have no idea what that is.
I'm going to say Jeep.
Love it.
Do you wear overalls? Love them. I'll wear them if the occasion is right. Or heck no, I have better taste than that.
I'm going to say I'll wear them if the occasion is right. You better say heck no, I have better taste than that because you get mad at Jason when he wears his.
I get mad at Jason when he wears his because he wears cutoffs. He either wears black ones that are shorts or he wears white ones that look like painter pants. Just go with the denim or go with the long black ones.
Denim, denim, denim.
I'm going to say if the occasion is right.
Okay. Amazing. Okay. Are you clumsy? Extremely. Watch out. Never. I trip up now and again.
I'm going to say I trip up now and again.
Do you think I should say extremely?
No. I don't think you're really extremely clumsy.
That's true. But every time there's a screen door, I really fuck it up.
You really do. What's your sense of humor like? Deadpan, zingers, or corny?
I'm going to say zingers. I think I'm
I think I got some zingers too. I got some zingers in me.
Ooh, we should ask this to our...
Ooh, this question.
Can you live in someone's basement?
Someone else's basement.
If the rent is free, I'm better than that.
I'm going to say it depends on the time. And I would personally, no matter how down on my luck I am, I don't think I could just live rent free. I would be pitching something in.
Right.
But I don't want to say I'm better than that because I feel like people, like if you are listening to this and you're living in someone else's basement, I am not better than you.
Yeah, no.
I just don't like these 2 options, but
I just wouldn't not give something like I do the dishes or I clean the house. I don't know.
Suck a dick, something.
Yep, exactly. You knew exactly where I was going with that.
Throw this ass in a circle. All right, skip this ad.
I should have made the tweet of the week that fucking thing where that guy tried to spell like rectangle and triangle and circle, and it was like,
oh yeah,
really?
Throw that ass in a circle. Would you be / are you a strict parent? The most, medium. I'd be loose and fancy free.
I'm gonna say medium.
I'm gonna say medium too. Cause fuck, you see.
Because I'm not about to raise someone like that man.
Caleb.
Yes, not about to raise a Caleb out here.
No.
Actually, I don't. I feel like that was really insensitive to say. I don't know like what factors factor into people like that.
Very true. Very true.
But I
when
think,
a
like,
4-year-old
not loving people
accidentally shoots himself in his
right,
face,
and I think it's like an issue when parents like don't like really like discipline and love.
and also
children.
allowed that child to work in
Right.
a store after he had harassment claims coming for you.
Pick a country to take a job in for a year. Africa, Canada, Mexico, France. I'm living in France, y'all.
Yeah, me too. See you there, sweetie pie.
Ooh, cute.
Were/are you a cheerleader? Oh yeah, I'm proud of it. Yes, so embarrassing, or never ever. I'm gonna say never ever.
Ooh. Do you like?
What'd you say?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yes and what? Yes and proud, or yes and embarrassed?
Yes, and proud.
Okay, girl, I see you.
I'm loud. I'm proud.
You're gonna turn it down. Okay.
Okay. Do you like to give advice? Yes. Everyone wants to hear it. No. People don't need advice.
I'm gonna say yes.
Right.
What are you saying? Yes.
I said yes.
Okay. Which one are you, king or queen?
I'm a queen, baby.
I'm a queen, bitch.
Recycle, reuse, Rihanna.
Was that your question? That wasn't mine.
No.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry.
Are you a smarty pants? I just want to say that I had a little argument with my mom this weekend, and she called
you a smarty pants?
No. She called me a smarty ass.
Oh, wait, you did tell me that.
It's okay. You said
Love you, Mom.
Loudos.
Loudos.
Got two loudos in here now.
I was really drunk, and we had someone come over, and my boyfriend was already really drunk and loud, and I turned to Sarah, deadpan, and I'm so drunk, and I go, dead ass. I'm like, we got two loudos in here now.
I literally looked at him like,
and we started dying. Okay, anyway, had to be there.
Are you a smarty pants? Top of the class, B student. I'm street smart. I have my looks.
I'm gonna say.
You know what that means?
Oh, get them. Put them tooties away. Ew, I called them tooties. You made me nervous.
I just flashed Jonathan.
I
He
know.
was nervous.
The nipples, they look like two O's. I said tooties. Okay.
Thank you.
So, I'm gonna say B student.
Yes.
But I'm also street smart.
I am too, but you have to pick one.
I'm gonna say B student. Advertisement. Get your first pair of boxers for free.
Yikes, thanks.
Are you a flirt? Big time, baby. A little here and there. Or what's the point?
I'm in a relationship, so I'm going to say what's the point?
I'm going to say the same. But also, I was at a wedding a couple years ago, and I didn't want to pay for drinks after the open bar closed. So
That's totally fine.
I found a French man, and it was me and my brother, and I found a French man, and I swayed him into being our sugar daddy for the night. I was like, me and my brother are really thirsty. Oh,
we don't have any money.
We don't have any money, and I'm sober. If only I had something to wet my whistle.
This next
I am going to say what's
question.
the point, though. I'm saying what's the point, just for the record.
Do you have mood swings? Yes. Sorry, everyone. I'm even keeled. I'm going to say yes, sorry, everyone, because my moods be swinging.
I'm going to say yes, but I am not apologizing because I literally have the shit like in my head. I feel like I really don't. You know what? I do take it out on some people. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
I def do. My apologies. You know who you are.
Pick a vice. Drinking, smoking, gambling, something else. I'm going to say drinking.
Yeah, I'm going to say smoking.
Click.
Do you want traditional things in life? Never resist the
Establishment, girl. It's not that big of a word.
I thought it was
Establishment. 4 syllables. You can sound it out if you want to. You spelled things. You were a cheerleader and a B student, according to your resume.
Ew.
So what did you say? Okay, sorry. What were the next?
I didn't say any of them yet because you rudely interrupted me because I stalled on establishment. You're like one of those kids that like when someone's reading a book
when
and
you're
they have
popcorn reading
trouble reading the word and you're like, it's establishment, 4 syllables.
Okay, were you not just... Can
I'm
everybody
that
rewind?
child.
Can everyone rewind to the beginning of this episode where we talked about that and you brought it up and you were just like, when I was talking about popcorn public reading and you were just like, yeah, you know those kids who couldn't get it out? My, how the turntables.
Never resist the establishment. I'd say so. A little conventional and unconventional. That's how I am. I'm going to say the
Yeah.
third one. Ooh.
Pick a color. Red, green, blue, yellow. I'm going to pick green.
Oh, I don't know what to pick. Oh, God. So, I don't know. I'm going to pick yellow. Ooh. Do you celebrate 420? It's a must. If other people are, what is that?
I would say...
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
No, say it.
Every day is 420.
True. I'm going to say it's a must. It's a mustard.
Literally every day is 420.
Do you get a lot of offers for dates? I'm swatting them down like flies. A few here and there, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter either, but I'm not going to downplay, baby.
Like, what's your DMs look like?
I'm a snack.
I'm sure you are.
I'll give you Cheeto dust on your fingers, baby.
Ooh, okay. You want to suck it off, too?
Flaming hot, baby. Flaming
put
hot.
Yourself in there.
All right.
Are the 70s the best decade? Obviously, before was better, after is better.
The music was bomb.
It was.
The music was the best, but like I'm more of like an 80s, 90s, early 2000s bitch. 80s, 90s, and today.
Yikes, isn't there somewhere in between?
No, it's literally, it's either there before or after. There is no in between that. I'm going to say, what'd you say?
I'm Jackie.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Stephen Hyde.
Oh, wow.
What does yours say? Oh my God, we dated for a little bit in the first few seasons.
Hello there. You're a beauty with charm to mesmerize anyone. Life is fun and riches will find you, but you'll soon learn that that's not all there is. Be ready to embrace it. How did you know I was Jackie?
Hi. All our listeners were probably like screaming that when you started this. Everybody freaking knew. So I got Stephen Hyde. You like to break the mold and don't want anyone telling you what to do. Chilling and relaxing is your jam.
True.
And no one better mess with your stash of goodies. Do you agree with yours? I would say I agree with yours.
Yes, I don't agree with yours.
I don't 100 agree with mine. But
I really think you're Fez.
I am not Fez. I say good day. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for listening to us ramble.
Yeah, ramble gamble, and thanks for understanding that May.
It's gonna be May.
It's a thing, but it's over, and we're coming at you, and we're gonna sock you in the cooter.
Sock 'em boppers.
But only if we have consent, because unlike Stephen Hyde's actor portrayal, I'm gonna stop right there.
Oop, 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 oop.
Follow us on social media if you guys would like to. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Esoteric Oddities.
Yes.
And until next time, should we sing on our way out? We haven't done it in a while, and this was a downer of an episode.
Okay.
What should we say?
Goodbye.
Okay. Are you going up or down?
I'm going up.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Frick yeah.
Amazing.